You are now listening to About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills. Rom Wills is an entrepreneur and personal coach who has helped people reach their fullest potential personally and professionally. Take it away, Rom.
Thank you, Marshall. Money management is key. And once again, this is one of those messages y'all just gonna get from me like once every few months, right? In business, or just period, if you're dealing with money, how you handle that money is the key thing to survival, to living. Because if you really look at a lot of people, that's why you can get a lot of people who can make a high salary, right? They can make a high salary, even 6 figures, or sometimes even 7 figures, because we see this money management issue with a lot of like entertainers and pro athletes, right? The issue is how they spend the money. Now, if you in business, especially if you're entrepreneurial, you got to be extremely disciplined with your money, right? Because usually the typical path for the entrepreneur is they working, regular 9-to-5 job, and then they trying to build their business on the side. And then they might get to the point where, they have to save the money. They have to build up their business, right? In that case, right? They have to, put some investment into their business, even if it's a service thing. Even if it's a service thing, you might have to put investment into training or something. So you got to be disciplined with the money. But then, especially when you're actually in the business. See, one thing about working a 9-to-5 job, in many cases, you just need to show up. Many jobs, no matter what you're doing, you're probably doing the same. Most people are doing repetitive stuff, right? And they need to show up to their job. But once you get to that point, you're an entrepreneur and you living, your sole means of income is whatever your business is. That's when money management becomes important. Let me say that again. It's the key. It's the key, because here's the thing, and I'll share a little bit about my businesses. I'll probably make my base. Every month I have a base I need to make, right? That base includes money I want to put away in savings and money that I need to live on, right? And usually the money I need to live on can actually go lower if I need to. I actually put a little bit extra on stuff, and I splurge with my pimps, which are my 2 sons, right? I do splurge with them, so they like to eat at different places. Plus they growing. Y'all know how growing kids are. Good Lord. Boys come over my place and stuff. Mom drops them off. They come over here. They head straight. They don't even hug me or anything. They head straight for the fridge. Good Lord. And my youngest son, shit. Man. Yeah, that's why I work so hard. But, when I'm spending money on them, I got to think. I can't, like one of the things with people, especially they working 9-to-5, they pretty much know how much they're going to get. They pretty much know if they work their regular hours, maybe get lucky and get some overtime, they're going to get this X amount of money 3 months from now, as long as they keep the job. I don't know that. Because this month, I probably make, especially since I took a few days off for vacation, I'll probably just make my foundation. I make my base, which is considerable, but still, I'm not making as probably like the month before, or even a couple months. There were a few months where I was making, almost double my base, right? But I'll probably just make my base. The thing about that is, in business, that's how it goes. There's certain times a year you're not going to make money. It's actually that way in retail, right? Retail, they know it. They don't have like big, if they selling stuff, they know like from September to December, they're going to make a lot of money. But from January to about really May, they don't expect a lot. But that's how it's going to be in business. So if you're going to be like that, you're going to have those ups and downs. You got to have a budget. You got to have some savings. You got to have a certain amount. One thing I do, and this is what I recommend for any business person, make sure you have at least, well, at the minimum, 3 months that will cover your rent or mortgage. I'm saying at a minimum. at a minimum. Like that's money you don't touch. At a maximum, of course, the maximum is sky the limit, but the next minimum after that needs to be enough money to cover your bills for a month, like cover like basic payments. Now, as I said, I pay a little bit extra on my bills, like, cover my credit cards and everything. But I actually figured it out right now. Also have enough money to cover like my bills for a month. And like you want to have as much as possible, but at the minimum, make sure you have a place to stay. At a minimum, right? And you gotta manage the money. So when you making the money, because when you making the money, you can't be like, oh wow, I made a little bit extra this month. No, you put that away. Yeah, you can splurge, maybe go out or something, celebrate or something, but make sure you putting away a certain amount of money every month. Make sure you keeping on top of your bills, right? Make sure that every you always got something to pay stuff, right? So one of the keys for the money management, make sure you have money in savings. I have like 2 or 3 different savings accounts. How many I got? Yeah, I think I got about 3, plus some money markets and everything. You want to save it? Well, that's another video. I like saving stuff in different places, but you got to manage it. You got to make sure. Like, okay, this is covered, okay, this is going here, because usually what happens with some people, some entrepreneurs especially, this definitely happened with some 9-to-5 folk. They get that money and they spend it. It burns a hole in their pocket. Now, the people who spend it and they got a 9-to-5, a steady job, even though it's not bright, they could probably survive that way for years. As long as they know enough or they know, they competent enough on their job and know how to like really not get on anybody's nerves so they don't look for something to fire them. But when you in business, anything can shift, anything. Like for example, on YouTube, like the way my businesses are set up and everything, all my money streams are set up. The YouTube money is my play money. And not even my play money, but it's my extra. And the reason I had it set up like that because of that ad apocalypse that they had last year, the ad apocalypse, and then especially on the black sector of YouTube, women trying to get people's channels snatched. I was like, I better not put my rent into this money. So, I set up other stuff, right? But even then, the key is still management because, okay, nothing is guaranteed. I might not, there's like one of my income streams is like 0 this month. Like one of them. Fortunately, it's not. It's like the least. It's like the one I check like once a week or something, right? And it's there. It's automatic, but that's how it is. Sometimes people just don't want to get something, and that's cool. That's cool because it's going to be like that in business. You're going to have, depending on what you do for a business, there's going to be up and down months. This is right now. This is like a down period for me, right? Relatively down because it'll start picking up about September. So that's why like summertime, I'm just like, I ain't big on doing anything. People spend, summertime people traveling and stuff. They going on vacation, they trying to figure out what they going to do. Got kids they got to deal with. So people don't spend as much money during the summer unless it's for travel, right? But whatever the case, make sure like the thing you want to do, you want to set a budget and you want to set a plan, right? And you want to really, even if you're an entrepreneur, try to project how much money you're going to get. Now it can be tough. Now one of the ways to do that is depending on what business you do, right? Like if you have a store or something, or what you have, I'll use the term sticky business. A sticky business is something where somebody is always going to use it. Like if you're a barber or something, you're going to have a certain amount of customers coming in, so you can kind of plan on that. Or a grocery store, bookstore, somewhere people always have to get something, right? Like a clothing store, that's weird. That's weird because somebody don't have to get anything out of your store, right? Or if it's like a service, like my business is not really a sticky business. None of them are a sticky business because nobody has to like come back to me. It's not a service I'm providing. But that means I had to work hard. I might have to do another video about that. But whatever the case, you want to manage it because you want to have those peaks and valleys. So you want to have the money to get you through the valley. And then during the peaks, you don't want to spend like crazy because you want to build it up for the valley times, like the lean times. You want to build it up, right? You want to be able to say, oh, well, okay, a little short this month. Well, I just dip into my savings for it, right? But you want to make sure about that. But you want to make sure you don't want to go out and buy like the Lamborghini or something like that just because you got a little bit extra. Like say you work on a business and you get, I'll be really extremely generous. Say you get 20,000 extra a month, right? 1 month. Put all that joint away. Put it away for that month. You only gonna get 1,000. So money management is the key. Anyway. Let's go make that money.